Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, well, let me show you what we're working on. A little bit of unscheduled maintenance. So I come out in the garage this morning, and I find coolant all over the floor. Made its own little puddle, trail wherever it wants to go. So I come up to the engine here, snoop around, obviously. I'm like, where am I leaking? I know the radiator's been leaking. I don't know if you can see it, but nope, you can't. But that hose down there, right down there, there's a coolant hose clamp on the hose and it's leaking. So unexpectedly, we now have a coolant leak to fix, which means we're coming over here and we're gonna move right along to thermostat, because if I'm draining it, I'm gonna do it. So join me for a little unexpected maintenance. We're going to fix this coolant leak, fix that thermostat, and throw a couple of new hoses along with maybe a radiator fix. Let's dive in and we'll find out. Alright, so generally this is what I do first. I climb underneath these things. I check out where my coolant drain is, because I want to save my coolant if I can. And then I look at what all I got to do. I've got, of course, transmission lines here. I got some hoses I've made in the past. I'm going to have to crimp those off. I've got to crack the fan shroud. Just kind of get an idea of what I got to do. Got quite a bit to do. So I want to get this radiator out of here, but I'm going to drain the fluid first and try to save as much as I can. I might be able to use a funnel to do that with a old coolant there. So we're going to try that first. I'm going to start by throwing a light bar under here because I can't see squat. Okay, so after another hour and a half of fiddling around, I figured out I can use this setup here to maybe harvest some of my coolant. Funnel. Into an old jug. There's not really any clear bar on there, so I'll never know how full it is until it overruns a little bit. Just fine. Wouldn't have it any other way. And this should turn in this direction to start draining. Radiator cap. There we go. Got the cap off so there's air behind it. So when it starts flowing, it really starts flowing. Assuming it starts flowing. Alright. This drain cock is as good as the day it came from the factory. Doesn't work at all. That makes everyone's life easier. So now I get to pull the fitting. Fantastic. We go in and out. Maybe I can loosen something up. Okay, so I backed this thing off enough that it's giving me a regular stream here. I'm going to let that just drizzle for probably half an hour or so and just kind of collect what coolant I can. So right now I'm waiting for the coolant to drain. It's a pretty slow process, but I'm going to go ahead and start pulling all these miscellaneous bolts and fasteners and just get things going in the right direction. That's kind of what you do to kill time and while it passes. As you get older, you will learn to appreciate these. Fingers don't seem to get any stronger. Probably my own fault. I should work out every once in a while. We all know I'm behind in that. Make sure my new parts are correct. It's always a good thing to do. Check fitment a little bit here. That should work. Alright, well, that was kind of correct anyway. Now that I got everything taken apart, you can see right here is where it was leaking at. That hose clamp, and it's wet right around that hose clamp. That is not the correct style of hose clamp that should be on there. So that's where it leaks at. So some of you might already know what's coming, but we're going to take this opportunity to get two birds stoned at once. We're going to pull the belt, pull the radiator, change the thermostat. Down on the bottom, we're going to yank the harmonic balancer and do the front main seal, because it's just a couple extra steps and it's pretty simple. And on these 4 liters, once that thing starts leaking, that's it. It's leaking. Alright, get the belt off, and as you can see, we got a couple of little cracks in here. Probably gonna have to order one of these. If not, I have to buy it from the usual scumbags, and they're gonna get me for it. So maybe we'll see if Rock Auto has one, or maybe Amazon. They've got some pretty good deals here lately. Good time to listen to my bearings. All the tensioners and idler pulleys sound good. Alternator sounds good. I mean, for the age, I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and pull off this lower radiator hose now and inspect the leak. I think the worst part about working with coolant is getting it on your hands. It's just so slippery and hard to work with. Right there. That is our ultimate cause of failure. It's not the only problem we had, but it's what caused me to do this today. Alright, loosen my hose up. Probably have to cut that hose down. It's a little nasty. And then I got, I think, two 15mm to take that thermostat housing off. But I was way off. It's ½ inch. Can't say we didn't try. Well, I thought there was some blue silicone in there. I don't know what's putting silicone on this thermostat. Alright, 195. It's the right size. It's a newer one. That silicone, that is gonna mess something up. You guys got to be careful with that. Just use a good gasket. I usually just use a razor blade to clean my gasket surfaces. Alright, so I took that in the house, put it in the sink, cleaned up best I could with a piece of hammer cloth. It's gonna work just fine. I don't know if it's been replaced or not. It's got some part numbers there. Made in China. Nope, that's a Dorman part symbol there. This has been replaced before. Well, I guess given the blue silicone, they could have just reused the old one. Maybe not. Alright, it's all cleaned up. I've got my new gasket here. Got my thermostat. I got a motor aid because I guess Stant doesn't make thermostats anymore. I don't know, but it's what I got. 195, it's the correct thermostat. So we know this fits in there. We're going to go ahead and put this in there. A little bleeder at the top. As you can see, it's got the more weight to the rear, so it'll kind of hold itself in. Then next we'll run in with our gasket and our thermostat here. Just as such. Alright, torque this thing to 250 inch-pounds, because if I don't, somebody on the internet's going to have a coronary. It's probably got a little bit of life left in it. Only a little bit, though. Yeah, we'll cut it like right about there. That'll work. You can put a little bit of coolant on your hoses and they slide on way easier. I didn't do that. That shouldn't go anywhere. Should be just fine. Okay, so at this point we're going to work our way down to the bottom of the vehicle and start on that main seal. Because after this everything just goes back together. Probably should have broke that loose before I pulled the belt. Use my impact. I think that may have done it. Just had to get a few turns on it. So this is not the same balancer as my manual transmission, oddly enough. But I'm going to use a different puller. We're going to try a 3-jaw puller, if it'll let me. These are a pain in the butt. They do work sometimes. You just really have to work for it. Fingers crossed. Well, you guys missed that. My battery died. Sorry about that. That would make twice now that 3-chop puller saved me when a harmonic balancer puller didn't do the trick. Twice. The thing's worth its weight right there. And we'll get our installer. Alright, installed. It's all back in place. I'm gonna wait till the belt's on and then we're gonna torque it. Start here. This down. Does that have grooves? That does not have grooves. Alright, we're on there. And that, my friend, is how, if you're not a mechanic, you start becoming one. Okay, so here's the real cause of the problem. This radiator has been leaking right here since I got it. It's been leaking at the core, so that was the original reason I thought I was going to have a leak, not the hose. So I picked up a replacement radiator. This is in no way the fanciest radiator. It is a 2-row radiator, and that's the requirements for a TJ. So 2-row radiator, best cooling you can get. Stay away from the 3-4 rows. That's all advertisement. The old radiator I had was a 3-row and it ran hot all the time. Alright, so that's it. That's the replacement. We're going to stick it in, see what it works, see what it looks like. So I've got my fittings on here for my transmission. I've got everything in place. I tried dropping this in. Bumping the fan a little bit. So I probably need to reorient it so I can get past it. Maybe like that. There was some rumors that this would run into the clutch fan. It is not, but there is some other stuff it's kind of interfering with. The fan blades are hitting my transmission fittings. So I've got to get it straight or put those in later. I've already put them in. I'm kind of planning on this working, you know? These fan blades are fighting me. Just this one is fighting me. There we go. It's in. It's got 2 bolts left on the bottom, but that'll hold while I put the tranny lines on. Really will be quite good. We are going to see if this will hold any antifreeze. If it does, then we're going to let the horses rumble. In theory, none of that should be on the floor. Not seeing any. Got it topped off. It's almost most of the way in this tank. I never fill the tank up all the way. I use this to burp it. So I'll let it run outside, get good and hot. It'll start to raise up. Hopefully if there's any air, it'll come on out of there. So we'll get it outside and we'll get her hot. So I have ran it, I got it hot, everything is looking good. No complaints on this thing. It is just rocking it. Fan is clearing down there, everything's looking nice. Fluid's topped off, no more leaks. Front main seal's done. Got about 4 hours in this. I know you guys, you dealership guys, will throw the book at me on that one. Took way too long. But this is it. It's done. Ready to go. And we're going to go drive it, I guess. And if there's any problems, you'll be the first to know. Well, I have finished the coolant job. We got the thermostat in there. The radiator's in. Did a test drive. Put it through the ringer. Only to have the water pump go out like 2 days later, and it was just leaking everywhere. So went down to the dealership, got the water pump, put it on, put it all back together. Everything's working great, and then 2 days ago I got a drip from the heater core. So it goes to show you, you should just replace everything. But we'll do the heater core later. I can just close those hoses off. I don't even need that right now, not for the next 4 months. So we'll close it off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you want more of this, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you in the next video.